What's up YouTube, Tenton here, and today I will be discussing why I personally believe that Erdrick is more deserving to be in Smash Bros. Compared to Geno. And before I get into this, I just want to be abundantly clear, I don't hate Geno, I'm fine if he gets in Smash Bros. But there's been a lot of videos going around lately about people complaining about Erdrick and why he's undeserving to be in Smash. And as a fan of the Dragon Quest series, I completely disagree with a lot of the statements they're making. And considering Geno and Erdrick are both Square Enix-based characters, so if one character is going to get in from Square Enix, they kind of have to fight each other for the spot. And no offense to Geno fans, I say this with love for Geno in my heart as someone who's played Mario RPG. Geno should not be considered, at all. No offense, I love Geno, but he doesn't really make a character, he doesn't work well enough for me. And while, yes, he can have a moveset, and yes, Geno is popular, that really doesn't mean anything. This DLC is specifically stated to be Nintendo's picks. Sakurai is not choosing the characters, and while Sakurai might want Geno in the game, that doesn't matter. Nintendo was the one that decided on the DLC, and so Geno has essentially no shot. I mean, he didn't have a shot to begin with. He's been disconfirmed for quite a while now, thanks to his Spirit, because at this point, Spirit's most certainly disconfirmed, and because we've seen how the Spirit board works with the DLC characters, a character would need to provide at least, Joker provided 13 extra Spirits alongside himself. Mario RPG does not have that kind of stuff, unless they were just going to do random Square characters, which, they could do, but I feel like they wouldn't do Geno if they're going to pick a character, because look at Square Enix. This is, at the end of the day, this is a money-based system that they're going off. Why would they ever want Geno in Smash? Why would they? I know one specific YouTuber, he said a specific line, it's why Geno's in Smash? Oh, we don't know. No, we know. Square Enix has no benefit from including him. It's just some free money. Why do that when you can include Cloud from Final Fantasy, who's absurdly popular and will, drum up a bunch of hype? And plus, I believe in 2015, the remake was still in the works, and which it still is, which is just kind of depressing at this point. But yeah, popularity, Cloud's far more popular than Geno ever was and ever will be, and Cloud, free advertising for Final Fantasy. That's what Erdrick essentially is. Erdrick is free advertising for Dragon Quest. Most certainly he is. I played Dragon Quest IX on my DS as a kid. I would most certainly love to see Erdrick in. Dragon Quest means a lot to me from a child, and I know not everyone's like that, but look at some of the other franchises. Who honestly knew who Ness and Captain Falcon were before they were in Smash Bros? Very few people, especially nowadays, because both of them are... Captain Falcon hasn't been relevant since 2004, and the Earthbound series is finished. They confirmed they're not doing more games. That series is dead. That series, it's done. Ness and Lucas and Captain Falcon are only relevant today because of Smash Brothers. And while for Geno, that's also extremely true. Geno's only relevant because of Smash. Look at Geno's history. Geno's been in 4 video games over, what? He was created in 1996, same year as Pokemon, 23 years. Geno's only been in 4 video games. Mario RPG, one of the Mario and Luigi games, is a cameo. He had a costume in Smash 4, and he's a Spirit in Ultimate. That is it. He's not really worthy of a slot if you look at his gaming history compared to someone like Erdrick. Erdrick is an old character. Erdrick's a super old character. I believe he debuted in 1987? Which would make him, 33 years old? He's been around for a long time. And Erdrick has been a consistent part of his franchise, and he is a consistent character. Erdrick is seen as the ultimate hero of legend in Dragon Quest, and almost every protagonist will eventually pick up the Erdrick name by the end of their game as a way to honor Erdrick, as it's the hero of legend kind of name, whatever, in Dragon Quest. This franchise has been going on for longer than franchises like Sonic. Dragon Quest is most certainly deserving for gaming history, and Erdrick himself is definitely iconic. Heck, in Japan, they call video games, if they don't know what they're called, they'll call them Draku, which says how popular Dragon Quest is in Japan. I know what a lot of people are saying. Well, it's not popular in America. Well, Geno is, so why don't we get him? No, just no. At this point, how many Western-based picks have they done? And how many fan-favorite characters have we gotten this time around? We got Inkling, we got Daisy, we got Ridley, we got the Belmonts, we got Crom, we got Dark Samus, we got K. Rool, we got Isabelle, and we got Joker. And according to leaks, we're getting Banjo and Kazooie. Those are so many super requested characters that we have gotten. And all of them, like, they make sense. And they're characters that, a lot of them, owned by Nintendo. And putting the Belmonts in just makes sense. Everyone loves Castlevania. Castlevania is a super popular, well-known franchise. And it's a good way to help get the Belmonts back into video games, as they've been out of it for a couple years now. And plus, you know, we're already getting Snake. You might as well make a deal with Konami to grab the Belmonts too while you're at it. Like, Geno just doesn't have a lot going for him, unlike characters like K. Rool. K. Rool is a boss and a relevant character in over like 10 games over the Donkey Kong series. And K. Rool is owned by Nintendo. That's Geno's biggest... That's what kills him, honestly. That's what it is. Because if he was owned by Nintendo, he'd be in Smash. You know he would have been. Like, Sakurai wanted to put him in Brawl, but Square Enix, you know, they didn't want any of it. And, yeah, if he was owned by Nintendo, most certainly. Like, K. Rool is owned by Nintendo, but even if K. Rool wasn't owned by Nintendo, he's still far more important to gaming history compared to Geno, who is a random party member in one game. The only game he's a playable character in. All the other games, he's just a cameo. Nothing more. And I like Geno, I really do, but people need to get off their high horses and look at Geno in an honest light. Is he really deserving of a Super Smash Bros. Slot? Of a fighting game that's supposed to represent all of Nintendo's history, and all of the history of gaming now, with all the third parties we've gotten? Like, Geno's not really deserving. Like, there's dozens of other Mario characters that are far more deserving. Heck, Waluigi's like 5 times more deserving than what Geno is. Most certainly. And Erdrick is part of a long-standing franchise. Erdrick is an iconic character. Dragon Quest means the world to Japan. There's about 100 different reasons why Erdrick probably should be in Smash. He's older than Sonic. He's out there with Mega Man in terms of how old he is. He's an old character. He's from a long-running franchise that's super big in Japan. Japan is overdue a pick that makes them happy at this point. And Erdrick, it works. He makes sense. Like, it's sadly not a contest. Geno's a cool character. As someone who's played Mario RPG, I like Geno. He was alright. Cool. But he's not deserving of a Smash Bros. Slot. He really isn't. When you actually look at him. Yes, he's popular. And I know what people are going to say. In the Brawl polls, he only lost to Sonic and Mega Man. And while that is true, popularity can only get you so far. And when you actually look at this from a business standpoint, Geno makes no sense as a character you should pick. Like, it just makes no sense. Especially in the sense Nintendo's trying to make Dragon Quest popular in the States. In which, yeah, you know, Erdrick, no-brainer. But Geno, like, he's a random character from one game that was released 23 years ago, and it hasn't been relevant in over a decade. And he's only still relevant because he's popular in a request for Smash. That is Geno's entire thing. And he's already a spirit. So we know he's not going to happen. Like, it's objective at this point. Geno's not going to happen. Unless they do some kind of thing for assist trophies and spirits to put them in the game. But we don't know if that's going to happen. For all we know, it's these 4 characters, and then Ultimate's done. We'll see, but Geno just... he isn't as deserving as Erdrick is. Objectively, he's not. He's not... There are very few characters in Smash Bros. That I would say are even close to Geno's level. Like, you could say Wii Fit, potentially, but, yeah, Wii Fit sold extraordinarily well. To her being in the roster, it makes some sense. Plus, she's a Nintendo character, and Nintendo owns her. So it's not like it would be any kind of legal issue. Geno will probably never be in Smash unless Nintendo goes out of their way to get him. And it's unlikely that they do that unless they're really trying to please fans. And this game, I don't think so. Maybe Smash 6, whenever that happens. Maybe down the line if we get even more Ultimate DLC. But for now, guys, don't hold your head up for Geno. Don't. He's not going to happen. Some of these videos that I watched also pointed out one thing that really annoyed me, as they brought up Joker, and as someone who loves Persona 5, I will say that yes, Joker's a cool pick, but one thing that they did bring up that was kind of stupid in my opinion is they brought up the sales for Persona 5 and said how Dragon Quest didn't really sell all that well outside of Japan, and I'm like, yeah, that's kind of true. You actually look up the sales of Dragon Quest 11 and Persona 5. Dragon Quest 11 sold, what, 5 million copies? Persona 5 sold like 2 million. So, worldwide, I think Erdrick's a better pick than Joker is. This is coming from someone who loves both characters. So, saying that Erdrick isn't popular isn't really true. I mean, to a certain extent, it's true in America, but in Japan, heck no. Even if it's not Erdrick, say it's Luminary or the Slime, it doesn't really matter. Dragon Quest definitely deserves a rep. It's iconic enough, it's important enough to gaming history, it defined the RPG genre. The only RPGs that have sold more than Dragon Quest are Final Fantasy and Pokemon, and a lot of the stuff they do was inspired by Dragon Quest. Erdrick and his series are more than important enough to be in Smash Bros. Erdrick is more important to gaming history than Bayonetta is. He's more important to gaming history than Joker is. Like, he's more important to gaming history than friggin' Snake is. Like, Erdrick has the history, and his franchise is extremely important. He most certainly deserves a Smash Bros. Slot. Even if he's not the most popular request, like, you don't have to be popular to get into Smash Bros. Plus, Sakurai really likes Dragon Quest III, and we all know what Sakurai does with games he likes. He adds them to Smash Bros. Because he loves Persona 5. So, in conclusion, like, people need to stop hating on Erdrick. He's not the most interesting character in the world, and people are going to probably be complaining about how he's another sword fighter, but regardless, he's most certainly deserving of Smash Bros. Slot. And I'm personally looking forward to him. And I'm also looking forward to our Bear and Bird. Come on, Nintendo. Sakurai's hinted we're getting some news in 3 days. Give me the bear, give me the bird. Give me that bird. Anyway, guys, what do you think? Do you think Geno's deserving of a Smash Bros. Slot? Or do you think that I'm correct in saying that Erdrick is more important and Geno honestly isn't worth a slot? No offense to Geno, love him, but you're not really worth a slot, buddy, sorry. Anyway, guys, leave your opinions in the comments below, and let's look forward to that E3 hype. This has been Tintin.